dresser on Craigslist. It was $150, which for around this area is a really good price, especially for solid wood. So I picked it up. Here's all the drawers. It comes with 10 drawers, so that's going to be awesome for storage in my room. I like the hardware, but I think I'm going to change it up a bit. It also came with this huge mirror that fits onto the back. I knew I wanted to paint the dresser. It was just a matter of deciding what color to paint it. I have this little tulip dish. It's a pale minty aquamarine on the inside and white on the outside, so I decided to let that be my inspiration for the colors. So I chose Bare Tide Pools and Bare Sea Salt for the colors. Now it's time to get started, so I removed all the hardware from the drawers and we got to work sanding. Michael used his belt sander to sand the body of the dresser. Overall, the dresser was in good shape. There was only a couple minor little dings, and then right around the footing, the veneer did have a little bit of trouble. It was lifting up on one of the corners, so we actually just decided to go ahead and remove the veneer around the footing. After we finished sanding, we were ready to prime, so this is the primer I used. When painting furniture, I always use a small roller that's made for smooth surfaces, and then I follow up with my Purdy paintbrush in the details. I prepped the drawers by sanding them with my 150 grit sandpaper. And I also sanded the frame around the mirror. After I'm done sanding, I always use a solution of vinegar and water, and I spray it on a soft polishing cloth and just wipe everything down, make sure it's all dust free on the drawers, the body of the dresser, and around the frame of the mirror. Then it was time to tape off the mirror, so I used my blue painter's tape, rolled it along the edges, and pressed down firmly all around the frame because you don't want to get any paint on your mirror. So everything is primed, the mirror, the drawers, the body, and now it's time to get painting. I decided to go with Bare Sea Salt for the body of the dresser and the face of the drawers. It's a gorgeous white. It reminds me of sun-bleached coral on the beach. It's just so pretty without being too bright white, without being too cool or too sterile, and it's not super creamy, so it's not too yellow tone. It's really a very natural kind of balanced white. It just seems to work really well whether you're using silver hardware or gold hardware. It just has a nice neutral balanced tone to it. So here I'm using my roller, but I also use my Purdy paintbrush just to follow up and also get into any details. I also like to make sure that there's no drips along the way as I'm working, so I always follow up with a paintbrush afterwards. I'm also going to go ahead and do the mirror. Right after I get done painting, I remove the tape from the mirror. I want to make sure that I do this while the paint is still a little wet. That way I don't rip up any of the paint off of the frame as I'm pulling the tape up. Now I'm working on the hardware. I decided that I do want to paint the hardware. I like the shape of it, so I'm not going to change it out, but I am going to clean it up with a little alcohol. And I'm going to spray paint it using this Rust-Oleum Titanium Silver from their Universal line. This is paint and primer in one, so it makes it really easy. I'm going to give the hardware one light coat of the titanium silver and then let it dry for about 15 to 20 minutes and then give it a second coat. For this second coat, you can see I flipped the handles up, but you can actually wedge the handles in place using toothpicks. That works well too. I let the hardware dry for about 15 minutes and then I topped it off with Rust-Oleum Bright Coat. This just gives it a shinier kind of finish. And then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of white to it. So again, just playing around with the paints, I decided to use this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch in white gloss. And so I just gave that a light spritz of it. And then I took a soft rag, this is actually just a little piece of a t-shirt, and then I just kind of rubbed that around and just kind of rubbed it into the grooves and the details just to give it a kind of more interesting look, so it wasn't just a flat sort of silver finish. Now that some of the pieces had dried, we were able to move them inside, so we moved the body of the dresser inside and Michael was able to attach the mirror back to the dresser, and that just screws into the back. Now it's time to finish up the drawers. So the face of the drawers I painted with Bare Sea Salt, but the rest of the drawers I'm going to be painting with this Bare Tide Pools. Another beautiful beachy color. This is a soft minty aquamarine, and I thought it would just be fun to do a two-tone look for the drawers. Just so when you pull open your drawers, you just get this pop of color, but it's not too overwhelming. It's actually really refreshing and kind of soothing at the same time. But it's a very soft sort of color that blends well with neutrals. So I thought it'd go really well with the sea salt color that I was doing on the front of the drawers and the base of the dresser. I actually discovered this color because it was on the same paint chip card as Bare Marina Isle, which is another one of my favorites. But Bare Marina Isle is darker and Tide Pools is much lighter and it's got more kind of a fresh look to it, you know, a little bit fresher, a little bit mintier, although I love both colors. I think they are both amazing. But since I was doing the bare sea salt on the outside, I thought this would work perfect for the inside and not be too much of a contrast. Once the drawers were dry, it was time to get them put back in the dresser. Now for the painting, I did do 2 coats of sea salt on the dresser, and then I did 2 coats of Tide Pools inside the drawers and around the sides of the drawers. So now with all of the drawers placed back into the dresser, it was time to get the hardware back on. Something else you could do is add a clear coat like polyacrylic to help protect your paint job. I'm considering it for the future, though I haven't done it yet. So here's the before. This is the original Craigslist posting. And here's the after. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love the color scheme. I used both of the Bear paints in a satin finish, and I think Bear Sea Salt in satin gave it a beautiful finish. I just love the kind of glow that it gives, and it really worked well with the hardware. Here's what the inside the drawers look like originally. And here's the after. This is with Bear Tide Pools in a satin finish. I love the pop of color. It's fresh, it's uplifting. I like having the color inside of the drawers as well as wrapped around the sides. This dresser came with great hardware to begin with, but adding a few layers of paint really created a unique finish. My inspiration for the color scheme of this dresser came from this little bowl that I found at Ross. It's made in Spain, and I just love the colors of it so much. I thought, you know what, that's exactly what I want to paint my dresser. I hope you guys enjoyed this furniture makeover. If you like these kind of videos, definitely let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.